Welcome back to the Star Wars Newsnet Timeline show, where every week Luke and I go through the next piece of canon material on the Star Wars timeline. And let me tell you guys, sometimes it is a lot of work to do the timeline show, and it's not exactly one of those projects that's like, oh, this is like so rewarding in the sense that this is just going to generate the most views ever. No, this is like a passion project. And honestly, I love this show more than any other show that we do because it's like we get to take a moment to reflect on every single piece of canon material. Nothing really gets left out. And frankly, as someone who has missed out on various things, mostly in the comic world, it's kind of fun to go back and do this. But right now, we're focusing on Young Jedi Adventures, the show for the younglings out there. And as always, I am joined by my dear brother in the Force, Luke. Luke, thanks for being here. Are you ready to talk some Young Jedi Adventures today?
I'm always ready. This show has a very special place in my heart.
Oh, as it should, as it should. And so here we go. We are on episode 7. Remember, each episode is divided into 2 parts. So we'll start by talking about part 1, which is the Jedi and the Thief. The synopsis here: Kai and Zia team up, and here we get into some interesting stuff. So Kai is training with some 6 saber moves against a droid he is outfitted to look like Tabor, the pirate that they've been, battling with. This definitely disturbs Master Zia. So she has Kai come on a mission with her. And on this mission, their shuttle gets stolen by a thief from Zia's past, Ace Callisto. And after Kai accidentally causes the shuttle to crash and Zia is injured on this crash, Kai has to work together with Ace, who he is not sure is a very good person, to escape a Stalat cave home. Now, through this, Kai learns the valuable lesson of this episode, which is that being a Jedi is about believing that everyone can do good and change for the better. And he learns that when Ace decides to save him, and help get them to safety. So, a lot of good lessons here. Of course, remember, we're still in the year 232 BBY, which is where all of these episodes take place in phase 1 of the High Republic Initiative. Luke, what did you think of part 1?
This is a good story, especially because we've now been introduced quite a few times to Tabor. And so I think it's pretty cool that we get a paralleled story that is Master Zia. With her kind of version of Tabor. And we get a glimpse into how Kai and Tabor could turn out in the future. Because we see how Zia and Ace have really mended things as well as you can between people who are on opposing sides. So it's really cool for this lesson to be for the viewer, but also like in universe for Kai as well.
And it's almost like they have like it's not really like a frenemy, type of thing going on. Like, we're not friends, but you're not my enemy. It's just kind of a reminder of my youth, so to speak, as well. So let's get into the notes. I got some, always got the footnotes for this. Okay. So Kai has designed the droid he practices against to look like Tabor, and Kai wants to fight Tabor, and this is obviously why Master Zia is frustrated. If you had to design a fighting droid after someone that you really wanted to fight, who might be a name or a face that gets popped up on the droid that you're sparring against or training against?
We might not mention any specific names, but there might be a former boss or two that would be there.
A few bosses are on there.
Maybe.
I was thinking Game 6 Klay Thompson, like I would put him on there as a Oklahoma City Thunder basketball fan that I'm consistently traumatized by him every year around the playoffs. So maybe Game 6 Klay, that might be a good one for me. I understand having put a few bosses.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Maurice Jones-Drew. The muscle hamster himself.
Thwarted the Colts too many times.
So Kai goes with Master Zia on this mission, right? And Master Zia may be reconsidering bringing Kai on this mission, as the first person that she introduces him to is a guy named Ferris. And Ferris literally says, "Oh yeah, Master Zia, she used to scrap it up all the time with the pirates, and always looking to get into like a little bit of a rumble." And Kai's like, "Master Zia, really?"
Really?
And
Yeah.
so my question, you have is it your 8-year-old? Is it your nephew? Like, or is it
Yes.
cousin? Okay, so
Nephew.
your nephew. Okay, so your 8-year-old nephew. Okay, is there any particular person from like a lesson that you've maybe tried to drive home to your nephew, where if you took him certain areas that you're worried that you might look a bit hypocritical?
For sure. And I'm gonna venture to guess I'm maybe not the only person out there, but oh yeah, there's for sure. Like if I brought him around, he's from the fiance's side. So if I brought him around my family, my parents would be like, "Oh yeah, when Luke was 8 years old, he was a complete hellion. Like he would torture his little brother." And yeah, I would look pretty bad trying to be like, "Hey, let's like calm our emotions. Let's be nice to other people." Well, you weren't when you were 8, so
Right.
yeah.
So that's good. That's good. How wonderful the mind of a child is. So Master Zia destroys Ferris's speeder, and it's funny to point this out that when he gave her the speeder, he's like, "Please don't destroy this again. Like, bring it back
Again,
in one piece." So she destroys it again, and then moments later, Kai destroys the ship that belongs to Ace Callisto. And I have to say, I love the name Ace Callisto. But a fun fact about Ace Callisto: Ace Callisto is voiced by Tig Notaro, and they are the voice of some of my favorites. They plays Jet Reno from Star Trek Discovery,
oh my
who's kind
goodness.
of like this. Like as soon as I heard the voice, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like Jet Reno from Discovery." And like this kind of hard ass, smart aleck, like super smart engineering genius from Star Trek. And I was like, I have heard this voice before. It took me a minute, and then I'm like, I has to be that. I was googling it, so it's always cool when voice actors show up in projects and you're not aware, like these like just guest stars or guest
Oh yeah.
voice actor, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I know that voice from somewhere. I'm just glad I was able to pinpoint it, because sometimes I'm not able to pinpoint it. And I have to like, it just drives me insane. Does that ever happen to you? Like drive you insane?
Yeah, not to go off. I'll keep it short, but there is a tangent here that is absolutely Star Wars related, and we were watching one of Madison's favorite shows called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and there's this character
Okay.
named King Micah. We see a flashback of him when he's younger, and he's talking, and I'm going, "Wait, hold on, I know that voice. Who? That's Ezra Bridger. That's Taylor Gray." And it was. I looked it
Really?
up, and it was, and I was like, "Wow, I picked that out."
Deals on deals on deals.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
So the Stelots, right? Don't they look like, are they called like Stegosauruses? Like, the ones with like the long
Yeah,
tails with the
pretty sure.
rocky tails. It looks kind of like the Star Wars version of a Stegosaurus, right?
Yeah, it looked like it just kind of changed the font on him and just dropped him in Star Wars.
Just a dupe Times New Roman slash Comic Sans Stegosaurus, like
Yes.
basically one of those. And then tell me if you thought of this. So they're dealing with the Stelots, and they think it's just this one big Stelot. They get out, and then suddenly there's two, and there's like, wait, there's two of them now. And my first thing, I'm always going back to Phantom Menace. No, there are two of them.
This is getting out of hand.
It's
Yeah,
my immediate thought. Did that
I
cross your
mean,
mind at all when you watched,
I gotta be
or?
honest, that did not cross my mind. But now, right when you were bringing this up, I was like, oh, I see where he's going with this. I do see where he's going.
And so, Kai says like it's about, but like being a Jedi is about believing that people can choose to do good. This is kind of seen when Ace goes off, and it looks like Ace is gonna abandon them, but ultimately Ace takes the blasters, shoots down the Stelots, to get them out of the way so they can get a message to call for help to fix the ship. Do you have any other final thoughts on part one before we get into part two?
It's just a really good lesson to not judge people too quickly, and have a little more faith in people. Sometimes you might
Mm-hmm.
get burned, but often you'll be surprised at people putting their necks out for you with even little or limited knowledge of you and them. It doesn't take much of a connection to really strike home with people. So
Mhm.
it's a good lesson.
It's also it's as a teacher, it's like something that I have to remember constantly when students might be driving me insane for a particular week, and that's perfectly fine for me to say and admit as a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, of course, like students are going to drive me insane, but and not make good choices all the time. But I think something that if like teachers in general or people in general like if we're not careful, then we can view someone who makes a few mistakes and say that's all that that person is, instead of saying this person makes mistakes, but I could also see what you're capable of being, based off of Ace Callisto being this person with a vast skill set is capable of being much more than a thief. Just because that's what they're doing right now doesn't mean what they're going to do in the future. And I have to remind myself that too. As a teacher, I'm of course, in life as well. So good thoughts from part one. Let's put the graphic back there because the next part is called The Missing Kibbin. Liz is going to team up with a bounty hunter. Luke, this has to be one of the cutest episodes in all
Ooh, I
of
loved it.
parts and all of it. So the younglings assist a bounty hunter named Anson Strong in looking for a lost pet Kibbin named Figgles. And a Fibbin, in my opinion, looks like a Star Wars version of Roadrunner crossed with a
Mhm.
poodle with a handful of insect-like features. Would you agree with that overall assessment?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get more accurate than that. I think that's if you can't picture that right now in your head, get out of here.
Yes, because everyone can summon a Roadrunner poodle with like insect features. Somehow, something tells me some people might have a hard time actually making that happen. I apologize. The theme of this story is learning that working together as a team is sometimes much better than working alone. We should be open to working towards others. Anson learns that by letting the kids help him secure this bounty because Anson Strong always works alone. But this time it helped to have a team. What were your just initial thoughts on Anson Strong, the bounty hunter, and the lesson we learned here?
Well, you know me, and I got to go into the fact that he's a Dawitan, and that means
Yes.
he is the same species as Mr. Pan Eta, which we'll later see in this High Republic initiative. So I think it's
Okay,
cool that.
so I can cross this off my notes because I was going to say, ask Luke what species uh, Anson Strong is. Okay, so I can cross that off my notes, but I did not remember. So, same one as Panetta, who we're about to meet in about a couple months in Light of the Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
He is the same character who's very different from a character we'll see in here. Same species. Don't judge someone by their looks, but
Oh man.
it's a very good lesson. And he's a cool character. I think I can actually relate with him more than I realize, because I've fallen trapped so many times to wanting to work alone or wanting
Right.
to be a just someone who's super self-dependent, and that's just not the way life is supposed to be lived. So
Mhm.
I get it. I get not wanting help, and it's often hard to accept help, but you
Mhm.
absolutely need to cherish people who are willing to help you and let them
Mhm.
help you.
It's not when people are even offering help, it's I think we have a tendency as a society to say that like we're burdening those people by accepting their help. And because sometimes it's pride, like I'm too
For sure.
proud to do this. And this is some of Anson, like I think his pride. But there's also that level of like there is this I'm not going to burden you and I don't want to do this. When if someone's offering you help, oftentimes I try to assume the best of people. Like people genuinely want to help others and genuinely want to put that foot forward. And if just simply allowing someone to do that, we're not burdening them. We're kind of allowing them to feel fulfilled and allowing them to flourish as well. So that's a good point, Luke. I always appreciate your thoughts on the lessons that we learn here. But I do have an important question for you. So we're at Hap's Diner, here to
That's
start.
Sap Tap.
Yes, Hap's Sap Tap. And he makes a couple of, delicious dumps here, some dumplings, okay? So we have the Tenuan channelfish dumplings. These are like blue-red dumps. And then we got the spicy vegetable riverweed dumps, more of a, spicy green dump. Now, I've said the word dump too many times. If you had to choose between one of the two dumps to eat from Sap's, what is it? Sap's what? Hap sack?
Haps Sap Tap.
It's the Hap
Because his
sap
name is
tap.
Hap. Yeah.
Yes. Which of the dumplings are you sampling?
I'm definitely going the Tenuan channelfish dumplings. Those
Get
just
that
really
protein.
top my fancy much more.
Is
We
it
need
just because the
more.
protein? You want the protein?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
not.
for
You're not
sure. I'm
into
trying
the.
to bulk
Okay.
up.
No, we're trying to bulk. It's bulk season here. On Star Wars Newsnet, it's bulk season time. He said gains. All right. It's too that we broke down too much right there. We gotta tone it down. It's too much. So the bounty hunter Anson Strong, he is taking an unusual mission for a bounty hunter. He's looking for a lost pet. Because work is hard right now. It's tough to find. He's tough on his luck. So pet named Figgles. What are our impressions of Figgles the first time that you saw Figgles, let alone would you want a pet kibben, right? Yeah, would you want a pet kibben? Yes or no?
I've definitely mentioned this before. I'm a big pet guy. And watching this episode really made me think of my own cat. Just does the complete opposite of anything you would ever want it to do. Just, hey, I need to catch this thing. Nope, it refuses to be caught.
Okay. Yes. Maple.
It's just it. The kibben really felt feline to me.
So, Nubs, speaking of pets, Nubs repeatedly throughout the episode crawls on Anson's back and just kind of sits on his shoulder like he's like a little pet. But it's like, and I'm like, Nubs, what are you doing? Like, you don't even know this person. You're crawling on their shoulder and you're just crawling it up his body and just propping yourself on his shoulder. I thought that was funny.
Nubs is, and of course, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Nubs. He's going to get along with anyone and everyone.
Mm-hmm, of course. Which it's just, Anson Strong thinks it's a cute, cuddly young Jedi youngling. Little does he know that Nubs could crush him with 2 fingers if he really wanted to, because he's so strong. And so one of the funny parts, and this is, I think, sometimes how I think of my girlfriend and I sometimes and how we react to people. So right here, Kai's like, we'll just go into the town and talk to people and see if, they can help us out. And Anson goes, you mean talk to people? Really? And Kai's like, it'll be great. I feel like I'm Kai sometimes, like when we start the day off in the morning and I'm, going to work, I'm ready to go. I'm energized when I get there. I'm talking to everybody. I get up during basketball season. I'm coaching my basketball team. I'm there, super early. And the team's walking in. They just are not quite awake yet for the 7 a.m. practice. Now I've got the music blaring. I'm hyping everybody up as they come in. I feel like I'm Kai in this situation. Like, let's go talk to people. And sometimes, everyone's like, really? Talk to people right now?
I can relate. I might not even be as much like that as you, but I'm definitely that role in my relationship with my fiance. If I'm like, yeah, we'll just go ask that person what the answer is, and she'll be like, no, we're not doing that. We are not talking to anyone.
So Nash made her brief appearance. She's had been in a couple episodes. She helped him out for a minute. She'll be featured more in our next episode we talk about. But we are introduced to a couple of things, which is a channelfish sandwich. Big channelfish episode. Would you partake of the channelfish sandwich?
I think if I'm going to be doing channelfish dumplings, I might as well give them a try. I already liked them once. I'm going to like them again.
All right, that'll wrap us up here, and then we'll just leave with a final note of nobody can run from Anson Strong. All right, moving on to episode 8. Moving right along. The first part of episode 8 is called The Girl and Her Gargantua. And, the trio is back with RE of the Galactic Society of Creature Enthusiasts. Luke, have you reconsidered paying a monthly dues, like monthly membership fee to be a part of the GCE, the GSCE?
I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day, like randomly, but I was like, gosh, he asked me if I'd pay dues for that. And I think I would. I would. I'm down for it.
He's dropping the Netflix subscription for his Galactic Society of Creature Enthusiasts.
I'll trade it out.
So they're going with Ari and Cam to transport a bunch of creatures to protected nature preserve. The biggest of these creatures is a gargantua, and that kind of sums it up because it's a massive giant monkey creature. Like it makes a bantha look super tiny. And there are two townsfolk that accidentally set it loose while the crew is stopping on like a fuel pit stop. The creature's enormous, but super shy, scares easily, but is super nice. So startled easily, very frightened. The townsfolk are terrified of it. The trio ultimately works together to get the Gargantua back, but also show the townspeople that he is actually just a gentle giant. The lesson here is obviously don't judge something simply by its appearance, but also to tell the truth, even if you're worried about the consequences, given the townspeople who let him loose didn't own up to it at first, which caused future problems in the episode. So, Luke, how are we feeling about the Gargantua?
The Gargantua is very cute. I would want to interact with this giant being. I'd probably be scared, but he seems really. They seem really sweet and really calm themselves. So I mean, I think we could vibe. Me and the Gargantua. What about you?
Well, you have such. I would not vibe with the Gargantua. I'm too loud. I'm a little bit too much. Like catch me on football Sunday or during a sporting event, or even when I'm watching Survivor on Wednesday nights. Like I'm gonna be probably a bit too much for the Gargantua to handle. You on the other hand, you're like much more mellowed out like than I am. Like more chill, like calm, cool, collected. Like you and the Gargantua will be just fine. Like I think there will be no problems with you being able to keep the Gargantua from running away and destroying the city. Personally,
Yeah, I think me and Liz would be a good little like knight in Padawan or like master in Padawan. Like I think
okay,
Liz, I would want Liz really because I think we both have that animal connection too. So.
right? Yes, I 100. I'm with you on this one.
I think you and Kai would really be good together too.
Honestly, though, I would probably let Kai talk me into way too many like horrible ideas. Like, I'll be honest, that was probably what would happen. So the kids are going to Silgoda's Nature Preserve, a very new nature preserve, and frankly, quite beautiful nature preserve. I felt like I was entering into like Pandora at the end when we're unveiling
Yeah.
the beauty of this nature preserve. And honestly, so I'm reading The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire right now. And when I see these nature preserves, there's a section in Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire that's talking about how what they did politically, the Empire did to strip all of these planets of different nature protections and certain environmental protections that they have for the beauty of their landscapes or these preserves in order to fuel the war effort, and how they cleverly did that. And part of me couldn't help but wonder, like, how if this was a spot in the galaxy that was completely industrialized and destroyed by Palpatine because so many planets were ravaged. And it was kind of weird just having this like sort of melancholy when I'm watching a kids show episode, even about in a galaxy that doesn't exist. But like I'm reading this, the rise and fall of the Galactic Empire, and of course, when I'm reading about the destruction of these things, it's very personal because Star Wars feels very personal to me.
That's incredible. And I love when I have moments like that too, where there's an adult book or an adult theme that very clearly resonates just as hard in these episodes. And that's why we're covering these. It's like these have really hard hitting themes like that because that's happening in the real world too.
Right. So I was on vacation. I just got back, a few days ago, and I was reading through Rising and Fall of the Galactic Empire on vacation. And I needed someone. I didn't have anyone to like talk to because I'm not. There were some moments where I'm like, I really want to discuss the like political structure of the empire right now, and like the political fallout of these different decisions, and what's going on. And I had no one to discuss this with. It's like I'm like trying to imagine the look on Janelle's face if during like a romantic dinner on vacation, I'm like, so like when the government of the empire like stripped the Gorman massacre really wasn't like the first pivotal moment of galactic atrocities that happened to push Mon Mothma away. And I'm like going through like the political structure and hierarchy. I'm like, did you know that Masameda's power was really only because? And I'm like, I gotta stop. I can't do this.
I can't wait to get to this book because that sounds extremely interesting to me. I love.
We are riveted. It's riveting.
Really am.
So anyway, Ari and Cam are back. So always good to have our Galactic Society of Creature enthusiasts alongside of us. So really, what's pretty funny is Liz literally says she just wants to hug a bantha. And I'm wondering, Luke, would you be brave enough to just go hug a bantha? We haven't really ever seen banthas become like very violent, but we know that the sand people ride the banthas, so that gives me at least some, cause for concern.
I feel like, to me, banthas feel like a real world translation would be like a cow or camel or something. And I probably am not hugging those animals myself. So I'm probably going to pass on a bantha hug.
Yeah, I'm with you. As much as I love, the like a bantha remix out there that really humanizes and makes us care for the banthas. I guess humanize is not the right word, but makes us care for the banthas as like pets. I guess maybe I'll still probably stay away. So I have another species. I have another species question here for you. I hope you're prepared for this one. So we have Slag and Braig, the two people that are the townsfolk. Are they the same species as Dex from Attack of the Clones?
And
if
Pong
so,
Krell.
and Pong Krell. And if so, like, what species is that again?
They are the Basilisk.
Okay. The Basilisk species.
Yes, so I was going to bring that up. I have that in my notes that they are the same species as Dex and
Okay.
Pong Krell.
And Pong Krell. I forgot about Pong Krell, that bastard.
I was going to
say. Slag and Braig seem not to be on the intelligence side of the Basilisk species, though, do they?
They really don't. And not even really very honest either. Which I will say this in their defense. Like, I've found myself in some moments at work or some other time in my life where I'm like, ooh, I made a small mistake here, or maybe a big one like they did. But I'm like, I think I could actually just cover that up and fix it before anyone sees it. Like, I've been there. I've so been there. I get it. I get it, Slag and Braig. I get it. But this is a wild animal that we just let loose. We should probably let someone know. This isn't like a miskeying something on an Excel sheet. Okay.
So the Gargantua, or Garganchi as the kids call him, it's very interesting. How strong are the supports are the roofs of these buildings here? Because this is a giant, I mean like a giant creature, monkey creature, like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Like this thing's got to weigh like what, 800 pounds or something? Like, I don't know.
If not over 1K.
Like, maybe it's 1,000-pound creature here, leaping roof to roof, and all of the building's structural integrity held. Did they somehow bring what's the like Beskar or something all the way to build these, like, out of Beskar, like the strongest metal known to man, the strongest alloy?
And it's, the reference is gonna fall flat, but there's those like things that Jamaram hangs around with her. They like build stuff on Corellia and stuff. So it's like these built by the best builders in the world on this small little planet or something.
Corellia is in charge of the industrial stuff here. So I will say that there is a level. We've both talked about how we're going to pass on hugs from Garganchi, but I will say this. Is there a level of second thought that you have to that? Because I was thinking about this. I'm pretty sure in my Star Wars video game history, I have slaughtered so many creatures like Garganchi without a second thought. Like, I'm just walking past, they're just grazing on the side, and I'm like, let me just whip out my lightsaber real quick and just cause some like mass chaos and destroy the ecosystem over here real quick. Maybe next time when I'm parading through the streets, I'll refrain from, causing needless, catastrophes along my way.
Yeah, and that's something that is pretty prevalent in the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games, where a lot of your enemies are animals.
What message are we sending to the youth, Luke?
Yeah, it's not a fantastic one, but then again, I mean, it's not like you're going out and hunting these animals. It's kind of like you're fighting for your life, so I kind of get it. But Garganchi should never be hurt. Protect them at all costs.
Sees Toad on the side of the road, smashes it with your foot because it could grow up to be Ogdo Bogdo.
Oh my gosh. Kill that.
Last note on this is that Ari is such a poser. He literally disappeared the whole time while they're trying to get this planet back, this creature
Such
back.
a poser.
The poser, man. Final part here. The show must go on. This was, I think, one of my favorite ones. I'm really excited to talk about this one. The show must go on. Nash's Jedi friends help her reunite her favorite band. Basically, Nash is an event planner now, and they're planning this concert to celebrate all that the Jedi have done for Tanu and just to bring the community together. But the band is having a bit of drama. You have one of the singers that wants to sing, and the other one, the lead singer, doesn't want to let him sing. And so there's a threat of a band breakup here. But ultimately, we get together and, figure out like a solution. And the lesson, really here is that we should listen to one another's needs. And sometimes, it's important to think about what's best for, someone else versus what's just best for, ourselves. So Luke, our initial impressions on this one, and I have a surprise for you with this part. I'm ready.
That's right, and I don't know what that is, so truly a surprise. Again, another great episode. I don't know if I have such a personal connection to this one as I've had other times before, but it is super important to give other people a shot to succeed, even when like the slot for success is yours. You're normally filling that, and so it's kind of tough to give up that spotlight when you're so used to it and you're good at it. But you need to let someone else have a shot, even if they don't succeed as well as you do. It's important to be selfless.
And even from a standpoint of like they're friends, these people are friends, but like almost I look at it too from a leadership standpoint. The lead singer, as a leader, sometimes the best type of leadership to do is knowing when to step back and let someone else, either fail on their own or flourish on their own. You learn a lot that way, and it's about bringing people together. But so Nash is an event planner. She's hosting a concert for the Jedi, and Kai and Nubs are trying to like set up the stage. They fail at setting up the stage and then just decide, oh, let's just use the Force to set up the stage. And they do it. My question to you, if you had the ability to use the Force on command, would you ever do a mundane task like on your own ever again, like with your own hands?
I think I was like thinking this while I was watching the episode. I pondered this question. I was like, I mean, if it's that easy, if they nailed it like super easy, why? I feel like if I had that ability, I'd probably be overusing it. I would probably be doing the dishes with the Force. Like I'd probably
I'm never doing
laundry.
I'm never lifting a finger again. Like I'm never doing anything. That's probably why have not been summoned to Coruscant yet. It's because of that fact. That's probably what they learned. Like I'm thinking, like I'm never doing all this crap again. Like I remember when like Rey's burying the lightsabers. I remember seeing something online of like she didn't even bring a shovel or something, like, and I'm like, okay, one. Like, why is that important?
What?
Like, why does she need to? Why do you need to see a shovel there? Two, if I could use the Force, I'm never digging a freaking hole in the ground again. I'm just gonna go and just make the sand go everywhere. And
also, it seemed really easy for her. Why would she struggle? Why?
Exactly. I digress. We move on. The Koopops are the name of the band. We have Metz on the electric viodal. We have Ruff playing the rumble bass, and Kit, the DJ. And Kit, this is awesome. He speaks the way that this droid communicates. Is it like screeching, like vinyl noises, like, you know what I mean? Like when you're like, imagine like the DJ like doing the like thing with the
going ham
the records,
on that turntable.
Like I can't even do the noise. Like it's just, but it's like that. You know what I mean? Like it's like vinyl scratching.
It's a really interesting like take on droids. It's something new that like we've never seen before. I think it was really interesting and a really good chance to just be like, hey, this droid plays music. What if he spoke music? I think it was really cool.
Right. And then Nubs is in charge of testing the mic and decides he's just going to scream into the mic. That was interesting. Sep. Now we meet a young man named Sep, which is Bruff's, I believe, little brother. This is the most little brother thing. He communicate. They ask him a question, be like, "Yep, nope, yep." Thank you, Sep. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. I'm like thinking of student interactions I have had, trying to claw, dig, probe for answers on a question, practically begging for some input on something, and all I get back is, yeah, nah. Like the best part is on like on Monday. How's everyone? How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Yep. Did you do anything fun? Nope. What'd you do? Nothing. Like, so it was good. You did nothing. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. Like, how do you do nothing? Like, you literally sat and stared at the. Okay, all right. I'll stop.
Kind of frustrating, but for Sep, that is separate. I thought it was Bruff's younger sister. It's kind of hard to tell, and then honestly, not important. But
Okay, might have been sister. I
they were.
honestly don't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah. Sep is playing with a wooden Jedi Vector, which I thought was really cool. That like these kids, even if they're not Jedi, like these kids view the Jedi as heroes, and like they want to play with like Jedi memorabilia. It's
That was cool.
I love to see the galaxy in this type of state, really.
What did you think of Nub's dance moves? I believe they are immaculate. Just this whole like vibe, moving back and forth. Just one of those actions, like
I
right
think,
there.
yeah.
He said,
So I think they got Kit set up first, and they were testing out his music, and he pulled out the classic like chest bump, like like the classic. He just about once per episode, once every couple episodes, he's breaking it out. So I love to see it.
It's immaculate with the young what's his species called again? Poobian.
He's a Poobian. Yeah.
Yes. Would you try a sap shake? All flavors in all colors, apparently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a more of a milkshake guy myself, anyways, more than just ice cream. So yeah, I'm trying one of those. Gimme.
So here we go. I promise you something. Do you remember? Do you remember kind of the beat that when the gang gets brought together, the band comes back together, Bruff's allowed to sing his opening song? Do you kind of remember the beat that kind of goes with this thing?
Kinda. I'm not gonna say I could sing it for you right now, but
it's kind of like a boom, 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 boom. Okay, all right. So I wrote down the lyrics, the opening lyrics.
Oh, great!
Right here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do my best to, for those who aren't gonna watch Young Jedi Adventures, to give you my own rendition here of the like Kubop's song, kind of like that's going on. I wonder if any of these kind of go with it. Like, oh, nope. Okay, yeah, it's not really vibing, but oh, that'll work. All right, you ready for
That'll
this?
Work.
That'll work. All right, we're ready for this. This isn't gonna be in tune. This isn't the exact beat, y'all. All right. Here we go. I used to wander all by myself, made my way alone, till I wondered, hey, you know what? Going solo ain't much fun. So glad you got my back. Best friends, we stay together. How we doing? How was that?
That was just as good as me watching you sing on a cruise ship, actually.
Oh my god, forgot about that.
So
block that out of
I'll let that go for itself.
There's probably a good reason why I don't remember. That was so bad. Anyway, that concludes this one right here, unless you got any final notes for the timeline show on this episode's of Young Jedi Adventures.
Great episode. Great one that ended out for this episode of the timeline. Letting people shine where they want to go. So it's a good another episode.
Timeline show comes out every Saturday morning. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. For those of you listening on Apple and Spotify, please follow us there. Leave a 5-star review for us. That would be Awesome. Again, Apple, Spotify, Star Wars Newsnet on all platforms for social media and wherever you get your podcasts. Stay tuned to the live shows every Thursday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And as pretty much always, we have the Monday show for you. This last Monday was Luke and I discussing everything in the future of Star Wars animation. Like, what can we expect the next Star Wars show to be? And I think we had a really good discussion on that. I'm excited for, future discussions on that whenever they do announce whatever that show is. And of course, in 2 days' time, you'll be able to listen to the next edition of the Monday show. Until next time, everybody, remember, for light and life, and we are all the Republic.